All hail the Clicks crew. Alright guys, today we're taking a look at how to repair your Heroclix figures should the unfortunate befall you and something happens to them. So we're going to take a look at how I personally fixed like actual broken figures, how I repair bent figures, and some basic tactics that I use for this. So as you know, you don't got to throw it away, try to get a new one, stuff like that. So before we get into this video though, I want to take the time to let you know that Mr. Clicksflix is sponsored by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning roll for our gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link from the description of this video. Mr. Clicksflix is also sponsored by trollandtoad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Visit trollandtoad.com and use the promo code Mr. Clicksflix for 5% off your Heroclix order today. So, alright, so we're going to take a look at a couple different breaks for your Heroclix figures, and we're also going to take a look at how to repair a bent figure. So, we're going to cover the bent figure first. This is something we see a lot of. So, what you're going to need for this is you're going to need a bowl of cool water, cold water, preferably a couple ice cubes in there, but I spent a little too long setting up, so they're not in there. You're going to need some hot water. Typically what I do is I put my hot water in the microwave for about 6 minutes on high, and then pull it out, and I quickly try to get it from there to the Heroclix figure. You might have to do a little experimenting on this depending on what the wattage is of your microwave, but about 6 minutes should do. It doesn't need to be boiling, but it does need to be pretty warm to do this. So right here I have a Dr. Tracy Simmons from the DC Justice League set, and she's leaning a little bit back. Not the worst lean with it thing I've ever seen, but she is leaning back. So what do we do for this? How do we straighten her out? She's on that dial, so we can't like just dunk her in there. And for those of you that are into action figures or something like this, you probably already know what we're going to do. We're going to give her hot-cold therapy. So what do you do for her? It's sort of the same thing you do for like a cloth goods action figure, is you put it in a plastic bag, and typically what I do, if I can get it all on camera, is, there we go, we're zoomed out a little bit, is I put them in a bag. I put them kind of to one end anyway. You don't want them dead center in the bag. Alright, you seal the bag. You want to try to get most of the air out so that the water can get as close to the figure as you can. So now I've got her down in there in the bag, and what I do is I hold the figure by the base, I dunk it in the water, and be careful when you do this, okay, because this water is hot, and I hold it for about 20 seconds, or whenever I feel like the figure is good and pliable. So we're holding them in there, and what the bag does, keeps your dial from getting ruined. So if like for some reason you do get burnt and you let go of the bag, or you see a honey badger fighting a cobra or something like that, you're not going to ruin your figure if you have a lapse in concentration. So that's probably about enough right there. Yeah, she feels pretty pliable. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that out of the way before we steam up the camera lens. Too bad. We're going to bring in the cold water. We're going to pull her out of the bag. So she's pretty warm right now. We're going to bend her to where we want. And then, once we get her there, because I'm on camera, I totally forgot how to do this. We're going to keep her in the bag, not pull her out of the bag. And then we're going to put it in the water, trying to hold the position. You only need to hold this for a couple seconds, just long enough to let the plastic kind of cool down a little bit so that it holds the new position. Because what's happened to me in the past is if I have a figure that I did just the hot treatment to, I can get it straightened while it's hot, but then for whatever reason, I don't understand fully why, but it'll go back to its leaned position after it cools. So this is the best way to get that not to happen. So as you can see, she wasn't in there very long, and now we have a straightened out Dr. Tracy Simmons. And as you can see, the dial still, outside of my wet fingers touching it, dial's still perfectly wet, or dry, I'm sorry. You can turn it. There's no moisture on it or anything, so your figure itself is still in good shape. I've done this with chase figures, so that's how confident I am that this method isn't going to ruin your figures. You see the paint application is still okay. She's good. She's nice and straight now. She'll be good for collecting. That just happens for various reasons. Sometimes it's just that way when it's shipped to you. Sometimes I know how I store my stuff. Sometimes it just gets a lean to it. You guys let me know in the comments below if leaning figures is a problem for you or if it's kind of unique to me, but that's how you fix it. That's called hot-cold therapy, or at least that's what I've heard it called before in the action figure community, and I've just adapted it for Heroclix. So again, all you need is just a bowl with some at least cool water, but preferably a couple ice cubes, about a little bit of hot water, something that's gone about 6 minutes, and you don't have to have as much hot water as I had, just enough to dip your Heroclique to get it submerged all the way to the dial, so however much that is depending on the figure size, and you need one plastic bag to put it in so that you don't ruin your figure. I suppose you could probably go sans bag and do that, but I would be too nervous about letting go of my figure for some reason, so the bag's just there as a safety precaution to keep your stuff nice. So that is how you repair a leaning figure. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to repair an actual broken figure. So if you get a broken figure in your breaker case, like you unbox it, it's broken. Obviously, if it's something that's worth a lot, like a chase figure or something like that, or well, they don't replace chases, but super rare or something like that, what you can do is contact WizKids. They have a replacement program. I and others have for years kind of dogged it a little bit because it deserves it. But that is a method for you to take if you want to try to get that specific figure back. However, it is not guaranteed. So that's why I always try to advocate for people to just make an effort to repair the figure on your own. So first thing you want to do is have something that you don't care about ruining, because glue tends to get places. And what we're going to take a look at is two different kinds of breaks, the glue I use and how I fix it. So the first kind of break is, let me see here, get this in focus for you. First kind of break I'm going to talk about is something like this. It's I call it a non-clean or a hard break. This is when it doesn't break like at a joint or something. Like this typically happens when you drop your figure, I've found, but it's not broken at a joint. These are the harder ones to repair because nothing fits together nicely. It takes a lot more glue than normal. So typically I repair everything the same way with the same glue, but these ones are harder. You'll have to hold on to it longer. It'll take more glue. It might never look pristine again, whereas the other kind of break that we're going to talk about, generally after you do it, you're going to be the only one who knows. So the other one is something like this nuke figure here, where the component of the figure just kind of pops out, and this could happen for various reasons. Typically, like I'll open a booster if something like this happens, and the extra part will be just kind of be clanging around. So it could be, the figure got too hot during shipping, the figure got too cold during shipping, they just didn't put enough glue on at the factory. All of those are reasons that this could happen. And basically that it let go at the joint, but there's a joint in there, and it'll fit nice when you do that. So you see, even without the glue, it'll hold. So we're going to talk about, just with this one, because it's going to be the easier one to do on camera, and everything's always harder on camera anyway, is just what I do for this, how to sort of fix it. So we've got Nuke here, and he's got an arm amputation here. So what are we going to do to fix that? So the kind of glue I use almost exclusively now is this Loctite super glue, ultra gel control. I like all the kind of super glues, like Crazy Glue, Super Glue, Gorilla Glue, Loctite, all those companies. It's all basically the same. It all sticks. It all does a good job. The only thing that I'm going to suggest out of this is the Ultra Gel control, I do like it because it tends to stay where I put it more, so that if I'm doing something like this storm, for example, if I was working closer to the base, when the super glue dries, it leaves kind of like a white residue. And if you use a liquid glue, it can run onto the dial sometimes, and it'll leave that. You could potentially stick your dial too. I've never done that, but I have occasionally gotten runoff on a dial, and then it'll have forever this white kind of powdery look to it that I've never been able to get off. So I like the Ultra Gel control for that. So whatever your brand of choice is, gel form is what I suggest. So I like the Loctite. It can be found pretty easily at most major retailers. So and then something else I'm going to suggest is, you don't always need it. Like on this repair, I wouldn't need it, but something like this storm, I probably would, is a pair of tweezers. They don't have to be good ones, but I do like ones that have a broader tip for grabbing, so that I have a little bit more real estate to grab with. Because what I've found is sometimes when I'm trying to, especially with these hard breaks, if I'm trying to press a figure down and get it on there, see, I'm having trouble lining this up on camera. If I'm trying to press down like that, and I'm pushing, depending on where I'm pushing at on that joint, sometimes I'll get a little indentation on my finger or something, and you'll feel like it'll kind of stick, and you almost pop the joint loose again. So I got frustrated with that about a year and a half ago, and I switched to the tweezer method. It works better. There's nothing to indent. You got your fingers out of the way so that you don't get glue on them. Not that that's a big concern, but if you've ever had your finger glued to something with super glue, you know that it's a pain to get it off. So anyway, we're just going to do this. So this is what the tip of the glue applicator looks like, and then on this particular one, you just squeeze at the sides and it comes out pretty easily. So typically what I like to do on these joints is I find whatever to use a repair term, the female end, the end that takes the joint socket, is where I put the glue in. So in this case, it'd be the shoulder here for whatever his name is here, Nuke. So I just put a little in, and then, so like I said, on those hard breaks, you typically have to use a little bit more glue, because there's not like a joint to support it, whereas this is an easy repair. So just grab your guy here. Now normally if I was doing this, I'd probably just do this, if I can remember how it's oriented in there, like that. There. And then we've got them. You can sort of use your tweezer to push in, support it. Okay. And then this guy's pretty much good to go. This wasn't a bad break, but typically when somebody says they got a broken Heroclique, this is the kind of break they mean. It could be at the head, it could be an arm, it could be an effect that's on your figure that just popped off like that. And typically 9 times out of 10, this is all, if you look at it, it's meant to go back in a joint. And this is all you need to do, and it's already repaired. This is a good repair. This glue takes about a minute and a half to dry. This Ultra Gel glue, it does not dry as fast as the liquid. That is the only drawback. So I had to learn that a while back. This type of glue takes a little bit more patience, but it does stay where you want it, so you get a better looking repair, in my opinion. And then so like I said, we've got the joint breaks. Basically it's a glue failure. You've got your glue failure style breaks. You've got your hard breaks. Hard breaks, like I said, are harder to repair. It takes more glue. Those ones you definitely want to use the tweezers on. And then if something's broken and you want it replaced, like a super rare or something like that, contact WizKids. 99% of the time you get the figure back you sent, but there is that 1% horror show where you don't. And then we also discussed how to fix a leaning figure, and as we can see, she's still standing up straight right there. And if for some reason she was to lose her shape, you just give her the hot cold treatment again. Normally after you do that once or twice, The figure's definitely fixed. So you guys let me know in the comments below how you repair your Heroclix figures, what glue you specifically use. I probably get an email about this. Probably every other week I get a thing about how to repair figures, or a video requesting it. So this is that video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, give it a share. Really helps keep me motivated to make these videos. That's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember that it's on critical miss if you don't have probability control.